I will bide my time. Those chilling words, spoken inside the walls of HMP Alt Course in 2020, set the stage for the Elias Morgan sentencing, a case that would stun Britain. When prison officer Lenny Scott found a secret phone and exposed Morgan's affair with a guard, Scott refused a £1,500 bribe and paid an unthinkable price. Now, Morgan faces 45 years behind bars, convicted of a meticulous, vengeful murder. But how did the discovery of one contraband phone unleash a chain reaction of betrayal, obsession, and deadly retribution? To answer that, we have to rewind to the day the grudge began. March 26, 2020, inside HMP Alt Course, Lenny Scott and his search team swept through Elias Morgan's cell. Hidden under bedding, they found a mobile phone. Strictly forbidden, but this device held more than just numbers. On it were messages and photos exposing an ongoing sexual relationship between Morgan and prison officer Sarah Williams. That evidence risked not only Morgan's privileges, but Williams' entire career. Morgan didn't hesitate. He offered Scott £1,500 in cash to make the phone disappear. The sum was significant, nearly a month's salary for a prison officer. Scott refused, knowing what was at stake. Accepting would mean crossing a line, compromising his oath, risking the safety of the prison, and becoming part of the corruption he was meant to prevent. Scott logged the phone as evidence and filed the official report. Williams was suspended, pending investigation. Morgan watched his last leverage slip away. The relationship was over, the secret exposed, and the balance of power inside that cell shifted for good. For Scott, it was a matter of duty. For Morgan, it was the moment he lost control, and the day a grudge began to take root. Morgan's threat didn't fade with time. In the weeks after the phone was logged, Scott started noticing things that unsettled him. One night, a car idled outside his house for hours. Morgan had described Scott's home, his car, even his partner and children, down to the smallest details. Scott picked up the phone and called 101. He told the police, "He's got everything to a T. He's described my house. Everything. This is my third jail. I've been threatened all the time, but this is closer to home." Officers arranged to check on him discreetly, but the unease lingered. Morgan had been clear. "I will bide my time." He'd said it flatly, making a gun gesture as he spoke. Scott's colleagues warned him to keep his guard up. The threat wasn't just bravado, it felt like a promise. Even after Morgan was released from HMP Alt Course in October 2020, Scott's anxiety never really eased. He left the prison service in 2021, hoping distance would dull the risk. But Morgan's words hung over him, a shadow that stretched across years. The waiting became its own kind of menace, with no warning when patience might end and action begin. At 7:35 in the evening, Lenny Scott left the gym on Peel Road, Skelmersdale. In the car park, a figure in a high-visibility jacket waited, face hidden, movements precise. Morgan had arrived on an electric bike, brought in the night before inside a white van with cloned plates. The van, the bike, even the registration numbers. Every detail had been arranged to avoid detection. Scott had no idea he was being watched. CCTV shows Morgan step forward, raise a 9mm handgun, and fire 6 times at close range. One bullet struck Scott in the head, the rest in his chest and torso. The entire attack lasted less than 10 seconds. Morgan turned, got back on the bike, and sped away. The van was waiting at the end of a cul-de-sac, ready for a fast escape. Paramedics arrived within minutes, but the damage was fatal. Scott died at the scene, his killer already gone. In Courtroom 1 at Preston Crown Court, the families of Lenny Scott gathered for the sentencing of Elias Morgan. Morgan sat motionless in the dock, bearded, glasses resting on his nose, wearing only a t-shirt and fleece, while the judge and the public gallery faced him across a barrier of reinforced plastic. The mothers of Scott's children spoke first. Paula Scott, his mother, called out, "My son was everything you are not. He was strong, brave, honest, respectful. He lost his life for standing up for what was right. You are a vile, inhuman coward." Lucy Griffiths described how their twin boys were waiting for their father to visit, bouncing on their beds when the call came. She said, "He adored his children. All he ever wanted to be was a dad. The moment he was murdered, our world came crumbling down." Lucy Carnhill, mother of Scott's daughter, spoke of a life now consumed by grief, with only memories and photos left. The judge, Mr. Justice Goose, addressed Morgan directly. "You have been used to getting your own way by threats and violence. This was a carefully planned revenge killing of a prison officer for doing his job." He explained that if Scott had still been serving, a whole life order would have followed, but the 4-year delay and the meticulous planning still demanded exceptional seriousness. The sentence: life imprisonment, with a minimum of 45 years to serve. Morgan showed no reaction as the words were read. For Scott's family, there was no sense of victory, just the knowledge that the man who took so much from them would not walk free again. On August 29, 2025, Elias Morgan was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 45 years for the murder of Lenny Scott. Court documents and CCTV evidence established that Morgan, using a vehicle with false plates, waited outside a Skelmersdale gym before carrying out a planned shooting at 7:35 p.m. on February 8, 2024. The investigation traced the roots of this crime to a prison incident in March 2020, when Scott uncovered Morgan's illicit affair and refused a 1,500-pound bribe, leading to Morgan's explicit threats and Scott's resignation. While the trial revealed Morgan's meticulous planning and motive, details about how he maintained contact with Scott after prison remain sealed. The case exposes ongoing challenges in prison security and staff safety, issues highlighted in the judge's remarks at Preston Crown Court. Today, Morgan's conviction stands as a documented warning about the dangers of unchecked obsession and the long reach of vengeance inside and outside prison walls.